time to get up. Nah. For real. Actual King Smith. Let's go. Wake up. What you sleeping on your life for? Wake up. Every day's a chance for more. Wake up. Hands up. Let the beat thump. Wake up. Hey, wake up. Alarm clock ringing, but your mind still tired. Dreams on snooze, yeah, goals on fire. Everybody talk, but few take steps. Same old excuses, different regrets. I ain't here preaching, I'm here reminded. Pressure make diamonds, time to divine. You got breath in your body, fire in your chest. So why you living like you set up for less? Get up off that couch, move your feet. New mindset every time we meet. No doom scrolling, no fear feed. It's the real talk over funky beats. Wake up. What you sleeping on your life for? Wake up. Every day is a chance for more. Wake up. Hands up, let the beat thump. Wake up. Hey, no cake, no crown, still king energy. Talk my truth, that's my identity. Life get heavy, yeah, I've been stressed. Still showed up, put hard in the test. If they doubt you, good, prove them wrong. Same doubt, fuel, make you go strong. Ain't waiting on luck, I hustle with faith. Mind don't progress, foot on the gas and say what? Say now, say move, say how, say what? Say what? Get in the bed, shut up and get up and wake up. It's a moment, don't waste none. Wake up. Sun still rise, so you ain't done. Wake up. Beat knocking, let's go, John. Wake up. Hey, wake up. Yeah. This ain't motivation. This is a reminder. Wake up.
Wake your ass up. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my live stream, my first of the new year 2026. If you are alive, be thankful that you are alive. If you have good health, be thankful for that as well. It is Monday, January the 5th, 2026, and let me tell you, the bingo card for 2026 is already starting to get written and dabbed as we have some interesting news and stuff to start off the year. First of all, how y'all are doing? My name is the actual King Smith because my name is actually King Smith, former U.S. Air Force veteran, general, decent dude out here. And this is Wake Up with the Actual King Smith, a morning live stream where I come on and talk about whatever the funk I want to talk about. We are streaming live across multiple platforms, and if there is a like button on your platform, do me a solid, hit that like button. We're going to be on for about 30 minutes here as I do this live stream before I get ready and start my normal 9 to 5. This is something that I enjoy doing. This will be I'm going to say daily live stream, Mondays through Fridays here going forward. And that's a little bit about me. Let me know a little bit about you. If you're watching, let me know where you're tapping in from and how your day is going so far, or night, depending on where you're at, because I know we got some international watchers on my live stream. If you've been under a rock or maybe just recovering from New Year's, then you might not have heard the news, but we have a president of a sovereign nation that is sitting in a jail right now in Brooklyn, New York, waiting to be tried. And now I'm not joking. U.S. Special Forces, Delta Forces to be specifically, went into Caracas, Venezuela on this past Saturday morning and extradited President Nicolas Maduro. Today, we're going to talk about exactly how they did it, why they did it, and the massive question mark that's hanging over a lot of people's heads right now. who's running Venezuela? They are or the U.S.? Did President Trump, President 47, go in and do something that he shouldn't have done? Did he do something that the people of Venezuela themselves wanted done? Are they happy? How do we in the U.S. feel about it? We're going to take a look at it. Plus, I was curious about something. I've been interested in EVs lately, and I don't know why. I drive a hybrid. Who do you think is the leading producer of EVs currently? If you think it's Tesla, you're wrong. Plus, there's some interesting stuff in Greenland again, and I think that Greenland's about to become another U.S. territory. We are about to add to our collection of U.S. territories here in the U.S. So before we get started, let me come over here. Let me check my comments and see what we've got cracking. We've got, oh my goodness, look at this face right now. Andy's in the building, said, good morning. Hey, what's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Just finishing up work right now. Hey, you work a different shift than most people, brother. Venezuela stole our oil, and we are just getting it back. They stole our oil. There's something that I'm going to talk about a little bit later on, but, I'll bring it up now. John Krasinski is an actor. He's best known for The Office, but he plays a operator called Jack Ryan, and there's an episode that's going viral right now because of how he talks about Venezuela and the resources that Venezuela have down there. And I wanted to take a look because I just saw it like last night going into this morning, and I was curious if that's an example of art imitating life. And you work a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift. Boy, you probably getting that bread. Good to see you, man. Hadn't seen your name in a minute, bro. Hope you're doing all right. Fat Boy said, let me ask you a question. What's the question, man? What is the question? Put the question down in the comment, and if I can answer it, I will. If I can't, I'll just tell you I can't. All right. So while Fat Boy asked their question, let me come back over here to my notes. So let's just dive right into it. Operation Absolute Resolve. Here's what I know as of this morning. That, like I said earlier, this past Saturday, January the 3rd, the U.S. forces launched a raid into Caracas. And if you like military operations and you're somebody that really gets off on that, from some of the videos that have been out there, it was a glorious looking thing. You got ships going in, airplanes, helicopters getting in, wrecking noise, missiles popping off everywhere and getting down, with reportedly not many, or if any, from what I've read, collateral damage on like regular civilians. All right. They walked in, they grabbed President or ex-president Nicolas Maduro and his wife, which, what's the legality of that? Snatching the president's wife. Is that something that should have happened? I don't know. They put his butt on a bird and flew them out, and they landed in New York that same night. There were 0 casualties, if I'm understanding the news correctly, of U.S. forces during that raid. All right. Let's see. Right now, as we speak, ex-president Maduro is sitting in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. He is expected to face a judge in Manhattan Federal Court today around about noon. So that's going to be what's dominating the news cycle here this morning. And this is what the charges are. The DOJ ain't playing around with this dude. They've indicted him on narco-terrorism, cocaine trafficking, and possession of machine guns. Basically, the U.S.'s argument is this: you ain't the president. You are basically a man that was running a drug cartel called the Cartel de las Soles. Now, my Alabama Spanish is not the best, so don't come at me for that. The reaction across the world is where things get interesting. If you look at the right or the Republicans, they're taking a victory lap right now. They're saying that this is justice served for a guy who destroyed his country. On the left for the Democrats, and the UN, they've got a totally different look at this. The general feeling, and something coming from the UN secretary, said that this is a dangerous precedent, and said, think about it. We just walked into a foreign country and took their leader. Inside Venezuela, it's interesting itself. And I've got a video that I want to play here of some people reacting to it. But before I do, Andy said, have a great day. I'm about to drive home. Love seeing your social media and look forward to your live streams. Keep up the good work. Andy, you're awesome. First of all, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate the kind words. Hope you're doing great, brother, and have a safe drive home. Let's see. Your weekend has begun. You're off for the next 5 days. Hey, man, salute to you. Rest for me. And we got Fowler Creation in the building that said, hi. What up, Fowler Creation? I hope I read your name right. Fowl Recreation, maybe. Thanks for tuning in. Good morning to you, or good evening, depending on where you're checking in from. All right, so while I was reading that, I was trying to get something together here. Let me share my screen, and we're going to look at what people that are from Venezuela had to say about this.
And ever since I was born, every single person in power of the country has abused us and abused of their power. We have been living in a dictatorship for about 20 years. So I can tell you, this feels like a breath of fresh air.
So that person said it feels like a breath of fresh air. These are Venezuelans living in South Florida that are celebrating. They are happy.
Did you feel this was the only way to get him out?
100%. 100%, yes. He will not leave. He's not the real president of Venezuela. No, it's not an act of war. It's an act of freedom.
It's not an act of war. It's an act of freedom. And there are other videos here. Let me see if I can find another one of people celebrating in the street. Right here. Let me show this one as well. This is another video. If you go, there's a lot of videos of people celebrating. I haven't found too many videos of people mad. Let's say this. What I found interesting, so this is in Venezuela. This is what I found interesting. Look at that right there. Look at where my mouse is circling. If you're listening, it's circling in American flags. This is in Venezuela, in a sea of Venezuelan flags. And there's some American flags in there as well, indicating that the people in that country were happy that this had occurred. Let me stop sharing my screen. So that's some of the reactions that we're seeing out there so far. Shout out to Larry Smith, said, good morning, King. Good morning, Pops. Appreciate you tuning in. Let me see. We got Teddy G in the building, said a former McDonald's employee just liberated the entire country of Venezuela. Believe in yourself. Let me see if I got something here. Hold on. What's this sound effect? I gotta find a reason just to use that gong one day. Believe in yourself. That's hilarious. Hey, Ted, I appreciate you tuning in with that comment. So here's the big question, all right? President Trump has came out and said that the U.S. will run Venezuela until a safe transition can happen. What does that mean? Secretary of State Marco Rubio tried to walk that back a little bit yesterday, calling it an oil quarantine. So is it about the oil? Did we just go into that country because they were being stingy with their resources? I'm going to say this, in my opinion, follow the money. I always talk about that. Follow the money. If there is an opportunity to get into something or invest in something that is going to tap into whatever resources that Venezuela does have, which apparently they have minerals and oil down there in abundance, then that's where you want to get in. Always follow the money, man. If you want to know why decisions are being made in most places, follow the money. So I want to know what y'all think. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that this was a necessary move to stop a dictator. And we, meaning the U.S., needed to go in. Put a 2 if you think that this is a massive overstep that's going to drag us into a conflict that we don't need to be a part of, whether you think that they want the smoke or not. I want to see what y'all are thinking. I'm actually going to put a comment in myself. I want to sit back here. I'm going to wait a second because I know that there's a delay in the stream. And then I'm going to press my 1 and put it in the chat because that's what I believe. That's what I believe. I think when I sit back and just in my limited scope of knowledge of what I know about world politics and things like that, and I'm seeing the various reactions across social media, I think that this was a necessary step that needed to happen to stop a dictator. Because let me tell you this, very similar to what the actor John Ryan or the show where the operator had talked about Venezuela's proximity to the U.S., it's not North Korea that we need to worry about in most cases. Yes, they can reach out and touch us. Absolutely. It's not some of those other European countries over there or Russia. Look at our own backyard. Our own backyard, the Americans, North America, South America. That's where we need to really ensure that things are tightened up at on this side of the hemisphere. If some of the countries in the Americas aren't, how do I say this? Not policed well, because it's not our job to police them. If things start to get out of hand because other nations or places are going into some of these other countries, turning shit over there, right? And then causing things to get built up in a manner that some of these other nations want to get up and get froggy, then we've got a problem over here. So that's my take on it. That's my opinion. We got a couple of other ones down there in the comment section. I see the ones. All right. Okay, interesting. Now, let me take a little bit of a shift here and go from geopolitics to your wallet and the tech world. While most of the world is watching and talking about Venezuela, something huge just happened in the auto industry, and I think it's going to be a shakeup in other areas to come. For years, Tesla has been the undisputed king of EVs, or electrical vehicles, if you're not used to the English language. But not anymore. Official numbers this past weekend have dropped, and BYD, who is a Chinese automaker, has officially surpassed Tesla as the world's top-selling electric vehicle maker. And why is that a big deal? Think about this. It's not just about cars. This is about China versus the U.S. in manufacturing. BYD is pumping out cars that are cheaper, have great battery tech in their vehicles, and they're flooding markets in Europe and Asia. And when I did a quick research on these cars, they're actually not bad. And they look fantastic. And the tech in the cars and the way that the cars ride themselves are considered top-notch. Tesla right now is struggling with price cuts and demand. But let's be honest, Elon seems to be a little bit distracted. Between his ex-posts, rockets, and politics, Tesla took a hit. And I think that that's going to reflect in the stock market. I'm not telling you what to do, but if you, I'd be real curious over the next, let's say, quarter, so the next 4 months, how Tesla stock is going to do in the stock market. If you own Tesla stock, maybe it might be time to panic. The monopoly days are over. Competition is here. And for consumers, it's a good thing. I think we need cheaper EVs. I think we need cheaper cars in general. I was just telling somebody the other day, I'm looking at taking a trip, and I have a 2020 Ford Fusion Hybrid, and I love that car. It's got 125,000 miles. No, it's almost at 140,000 miles, actually, and it runs great. But I really want to preserve the car, take care of it, things like that. That for my next upcoming trip, I was thinking about grabbing a car rental. Because, I don't want anything to happen to my car. And then now I've got to go back out into this car market where the prices to me seem to be about 25 to 30% higher than what they were for the same quality and type of cars when I got my car in 2020. I got my car in early 2020, right at COVID, when prices took a huge dive. But it was the sweet spot for me as a consumer. I think that we need more affordable, I'm not going to say cheaper, but just more affordable automobiles. I don't understand the used car and the new car market here in today's market. It legit makes no sense to me. So I'm curious, for those of y'all, would you drive a Chinese EV if it was $10,000 cheaper than a Tesla? Do you even trust EVs, first of all? It's got its downsides. My landlord has an EV, a fully electric vehicle. And the great part about it is that he has a charger at home, and he can take his car and charge it, and it doesn't take much to charge it. And with the commute that he has to do for work, he's saving on gas and maintenance, because maintenance on EVs, you really don't have much. Your vehicle's not running on a lot of oils and gasoline and other things like that you have to really watch out for. I would like to own an EV, and I would buy a Chinese EV over a Tesla if it's going to save my pockets and still get the job done, right? If it'll still get the job done and I'm able to have it fixed or serviced if it needed fixing and servicing, I don't care who makes it. As a consumer, I don't. Should we as a nation worry if some type of other country or other nation is manufacturing and doing cheaper, better cars and able to sell in this market? Because that's the other part. How can I get access to it? Shout out to Pete. Pete said, good morning. What up, Pete? Good morning. I saw your call, man. I was a little bit busy when you were going to call and give me the update on the question that I had asked. But I am still curious, man. So I'm going to try to let me know when you have time so that I can hit you back. How much time I got left? I got a couple of more minutes. All right. So let's close out with this. Greenland. Apparently, we are making a chance and coming back and buying and looking at purchasing Greenland. President Trump is back on its let's go buy Greenland train. He made comments this past weekend, suggested that since we're securing the hemisphere, like Venezuela, that we should look at the Arctic too. The Prime Minister of Greenland literally tweeted this morning, that's enough now. They are not selling, but honestly, it seems like in 2026, anything is possible. I know some of these other countries also need to watch out too, because President Trump put some of these other places on blast, specifically Colombia, which is where some of these passport bros like to go to. I'm going to say, watch out for travel advisories. That's when you know something's about to get popping off. If you're in the northeast of the United States today, you already know this. There is a massive winter storm that's hammering New York and New England that's popping in today. So if you're watching this from Boston or New York, be safe out there. On the flip side, the state of Washington over on the West Coast is dealing with crazy flooding right now. And Mother Nature is starting 2026 off angry. Let's see what the bingo card for the rest of this year has to offer. I can't end my live stream without talking about the fact that my Ravens got eliminated last night from the playoffs. Tyler Loop, who's been a really good kicker for us, missed a 44-yard field goal that would have put us up by 1 over the Pittsburgh Steelers and got us into the playoffs. Instead, we lost the game, did not win the division, and got eliminated. Not a great Sunday night for a Ravens fan out there. But the playoffs have been set for the NFL, and if you're a football fan like me, if your team made it, congratulations. Everybody is 0-0, and there is a chance that your team can win the Super Bowl and claim all the glory. All right? Couple of questions here before we end. I'm curious if gas prices is going to go down because of what happened in Venezuela. I think in the short term, no, because right now the markets are not stable and markets hate instability. But if the U.S. does get Venezuelan oil production back online under a new government that's favorable for us, long term, yeah, I could see gas prices drop significantly. But this isn't a near-term thing. That's going to be like months or maybe even a year away from now. Is the president or former president of Venezuela going to be in jail for life if convicted in New York? Absolutely. Those charges that he was charged with carry a mandatory minimum for narco-terrorism. That's one of those charges that you do not want to get hit with, because if you do, it is life in a supermax. What happens to the wife? Like, I know the president got charged, but the wife wasn't an elected official. Does she sit in jail too? When does she get deported back to the country that she's from, that she got snatched out of, actually? How is that legal? I don't know. So to wrap it up, and a crazy way to start out this new year, we got a Venezuelan president in New York, in Brooklyn, waiting on trial. Tesla is now the number 2 EV production after BYD, a Chinese EV maker. And for as much as talk that President 45 and 47 wants to talk about Greenland and buying it, I don't see that happening in my lifetime, but who knows? Larry Smith said some type of extra cost to EV owners, some type of extra cost to EV owners to offset fuel costs. There's going to be something, because I think what you're talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, is like revenue, right? So if we're going to lose revenue from not buying fuel and gasoline, then where are we going to make up that revenue from automobiles? And it's going to come through the registration fees that you would have to have for these EVs. And there's going to be some type of additional tax, in my opinion, that a government is going to figure out how to get to impose on consumers that make the switch from gasoline to EVs. And I don't really think it's a bad thing. I think that you need to have revenue coming from the people to help for certain state, local, and maybe even, I'm not going to say federal, I'd say state and local municipalities to, keep things in order. That's my take on it, though. Like, if I was elected, it'd be one of those things that taxes are needed, but they should be managed and used in a way that benefits the greater good of everybody. So, and I think you have to look everywhere to figure out where to get that revenue from. But that's my take on it. I'm not an elected official. But as we come up towards our midterms, I'm going to end my live stream with this. Make your voice heard. People say that they don't vote because it doesn't matter. It matters. It matters. At every level in your government, it matters. I don't get how people don't understand that. Is there corruption? Yeah. Can there be corruption, I should say? Yes. Can there be instances of things where something in the process doesn't go the way that it's supposed to? Yeah. But that don't mean that you shouldn't, because you don't think that your voice matters. All right? I'll be back tomorrow. I think I'm going to cover the arraignment status on what comes out of the news today for the president, and just whatever the funk I want to talk about tomorrow. Y'all be easy. Y'all be breezy. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Trumpets blare the golden call. A throne awaits, I rise so tall. Drums like thunder, shake the hall. Royal robe, I wear the weight. Diamonds cut the night, no debate. Heavy is the head, but I'm feeling great. Crown me king, crown me king. Horns will shout, let the kingdom sing. Crown me king, crown me king. Bow to the sound, feel the power I bring. I bring.